Welcome to NATO headquarters in Brussels. I'm very pleased to introduce the Deputy Commander of Operation Unified Protector, Rear Admiral James Harding, who joins us from Naples. NATO has been in full command and control of enforcing United Nations Security Council Resolution 1973 for a full week now. During that time, we've continued to degrade Gaddafi's military as the regime continues to hold cities under siege and indiscriminately attack its own people. Our action has been decisive, far-reaching and sustained. Admiral Harding will give more information on the operational aspects of the mission in a few moments. Forces from NATO nations and partners in the region are contributing to the Alliance's operation, demonstrating the breadth of international military commitment to this operation. This includes substantial contributions from Qatar, the UAE and Sweden. Yesterday, NATO allies met with our operational partners to discuss the situation in Libya, the dire conditions in Misrata, and further broadening of international contribution in support of this mission. All confirmed their continued commitment to the military operation to protect the people of Libya. The North Atlantic Council also met earlier this week with the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Jean Ping. They agreed the African Union plays a key role in achieving an early and peaceful solution to the crisis. And of course, we will continue to maintain a close dialogue with the African Union as well as other relevant international and regional organizations. NATO is in command of the military mission, but we know there can be no purely military solution to this crisis. There is unprecedented international unity and resolve for a political solution. The Secretary General will attend next week's contact group meeting in Qatar. NATO will contribute there as part of the broader international effort to discuss the way forward for Libya. The NATO Secretary General is also in constant discussions with international leaders who are playing a key role in the ongoing efforts to support the people of Libya. He's been briefing them on NATO's led operations and has been clear that NATO stands ready to assist in whatever capacity the international community deems appropriate. We will face challenges in the days and weeks ahead. The safety and the legitimate aspirations of the Libyan civilian population are at stake, and the need for the international community to act with unity and purpose is clear. For its part, NATO is pressing ahead with a robust and vigilant enforcement of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1973. The civilian population of Libya are NATO's foremost concern. NATO's message to the people of Libya is clear. Our mission is to protect you from those who use military force against unarmed civilians. We are steadfast in our resolve to prevent Gaddafi from using his heavy weaponry against you. I would now like to hand over to Rear Admiral Harding in Naples.
Thank you, Wanna. This is the second update briefing from Naples on Operation Unified Protector, NATO's effort to protect civilians from violence in Libya. Good morning. Since I last spoke on Wednesday, NATO has continued to exercise control over the no-fly zone, enforce the arms embargo, and strike forces threatening civilians across Libya. As I outlined on Wednesday, here in Naples we continue to seal off the coastal approaches to Libya to those who would violate the embargo authorised by the Security Council. We now have more than 20 ships and patrol aircraft that are scrutinising all maritime traffic to ensure that only authorised goods get through. Our ships will present no obstacle to vital humanitarian aid and will assist humanitarian ships in reaching their destination. A total of 12 ships have reached Libya in the past few days, and 4 of these ships were humanitarian and 8 were involved in evacuations. In the past 48 hours, we've flown over 318 sorties and struck 23 targets across Libya. This effort maintains the pressure on the Libyan government to withdraw its forces and cease its attacks on communities across Libya. On Wednesday, we engaged forces in central Libya, including an air defence facility near Sirte, under our mission to protect civilians and civilian population areas. The presence of NATO aircraft and the accuracy of our strikes continue to pressurise those who would bring harm to innocent civilians. In the weeks since NATO took over command of the mission, the operational tempo has been steadily increasing. We've now flown more than 1,500 sorties, almost half of them strike sorties. And I'd point out that many of these sorties last up to 600 hours, and if you add it all up, we're flying upwards of 600 hours per day, which I think you'd agree is a very significant effort. Since we started this effort, we've hit targets including T-72 tanks, armoured personnel carriers, rocket launchers, surface-to-air missiles, and ammunition dumps in locations including Misrata, Ras Lanuf, and Brega. All these different targets are part of a coherent NATO strategy which reaches across the country and is designed to protect the civilians by reducing the ability of the government to wage a ruthless war on its citizens. Some strikes have destroyed equipment and disrupted military formations. Others have interdicted their lines of communication, cutting off government forces' access to vital supplies. Others have struck directly at forces which were already attacking civilian areas. It would appear that 2 of our strikes yesterday may have resulted in the deaths of a number of TNC forces who were operating main battle tanks. The incident took place northeast of Brega, where fighting had gone back and forth on the road to Al-Shabiya. The situation in the area is still very fluid, with tanks and other vehicles moving in different directions, making it very difficult to distinguish who may be operating them. In addition, until this time, we had not seen the TNC operating tanks. It's important to stress that our mission is to protect civilians, and we will continue to strike forces that could potentially cause harm to the people of Libya. I'd like to conclude by addressing an allegation made against Operation Unified Protector earlier in the week on Wednesday. It was stated that NATO aircraft had struck the Sarir oil field, and I assure you this is absolutely false. There was no NATO strike in that area. I repeat, no NATO aircraft flew strikes in that area. What we do know is that government forces have attacked those oil facilities in the Sarir area in an attempt to disrupt the flow of oil to Tobruk. The fire was a direct result of their aggressive action. I'm now happy to take questions from both here and in Brussels. Thank you.